Kate makes surprise first public visit since ending chemo by Sean Coughlin, royal correspondent. Well, first things first, well done, Sean. Looking at most of the recent stories from the BBC, I thought it took 4 of you to write one short piece working at the BBC these days. Oh yeah, and also, 3 of them had names, either the same as the pot-bellied epileptic that plagiarised the Bible, or just a load of consonants and vowels that mean nothing to anybody that can speak the Queen's. So yeah, cheers for that, mate. As you might expect, this feel-good story doesn't leave you feeling good. Not if you pay attention to what's going on in the world, because it just reads like yet another one of these fluff pieces where they dance around the periphery and they love telling you, what clothes she's wearing and who the designer was and how sweet and nice it is when everybody comes together. But there's still no details that anybody's actually interested in, such as what ideology motivated a 17-year-old Rwandan to butcher children while they were at a dance class. Don't want to talk about that, do they? No. There's less chance of them opening their mouths about that subject than there was of Anne Frank opening her mouth when she was in the cupboard while leather-clad Gestapo members marched around the house. So, we'll read the story and I'll show you a few tweets about it, and it won't make you feel good. No, unfortunately, people like you that watch this channel are firmly embedded in the real world where you don't care about trifling things like what brand of handbag Kate Middleton happens to be carrying around, and you are concerned about the fact that little kids got butchered like wild animals, and the government seems to have done absolutely nothing about it and won't tell you anything about the person that did it and why. So as usual with the BBC, sit back and relax. We can read the story and it won't make you feel any better. The feel-good story will leave you feeling dejected, just like, coincidentally, the kids felt when they went on Jim Will Fix It and they'd get to meet, 2 or 3 members of a boy band or something, and instead they got led into the cellars of Broadcasting House and then rogered more than a copper's radio. The Princess of Wales has made an unexpected appearance alongside the Prince of Wales on a visit to Southport, where they held a private meeting with the bereaved families of 3 children killed in a knife attack in July. Just in a knife attack, that's it. What motivates someone to kill children? Why is nobody asking any questions about that anymore? It's only been 3 months. 3 months since possibly the most shocking atrocity that's took place in the UK for years. Well, since the last shocking atrocity, also perpetuated by swarthy gentlemen from distant shores. But again, they don't want to talk about that, do they? So let's just give you some more pointless fluff, shall we? That'll cheer you up. This was Catherine's first official public engagement since she finished her chemotherapy treatment. Royal sources say she wanted to join Prince William to show her support, empathy and compassion to the local community. I think she should have showed her support to the local community. She should have turned up with a shovel, a pickaxe and a couple of kilometres of razor wire and started digging earthwork defences around the place. Because that's the only thing that would make me feel any better. If my kids went there, fortify the dance class. That'll make me feel great. Put a machine gun nest up with a couple of soldiers and a general purpose machine gun and I'll feel slightly better. But pointless platitudes, meaningless niceties, trivialities, and we keep importing more unvetted fighting age men every week doesn't make me feel better. If I was there, I'd be very, very, very angry. I'd be like, Kate, if you haven't got a firearm in that handbag, you are of absolutely no use to me whatsoever. Get back in your car and do one back to the palace, because you're about as much use as a nun's tits. Catherine gave a hug to some of the emergency workers, with Fire Chief saying she could see the emotion in them. The royal visit had been planned as a low-key event to allow time to be spent in private. Yeah, that's why it's all over the media, nice and low-key. The first thing I think of, if I think of the words low and key, is put it on the BBC. Yeah, do that. Keep things on the down low, announce it to the world. Brilliant. Catherine was a surprise addition as she made only a handful of appearances this year since revealing her cancer diagnosis. Wearing a long brown autumnal-looking coat, she arrived with her husband to meet the bereaved families. Oh, that's nice, isn't it? She had a long brown autumnal coat. If my daughter went to that dance class, they'd be talking about other clothes, wouldn't they? Because they'd say, standing alongside her was another parent, Mr. Taylor, wearing long black trench coat adorned with skulls. Because This would drive me wild with fury. Does nobody care? As I've said, I said this point when we were talking about the grooming issue. Ultimately, I'm black-pilled for that reason. I've said it many, many times. If you don't care about the industrial torture, assault, and often murder of children, you are a bankrupt society. You're already not worth saving. You're done. If you don't get outraged about that, you will never get outraged about anything. I said that years ago, and I've been proved right. Because look at this. Slaughtering little girls at a dance class, and we're here talking about long brown autumnal coats. I want to see tanks, armoured personnel carriers, and claymores outside the dance class. I want to see a general goose-stepping outside the dance class saying, if another hairy-ass foreign man gets within 500 yards of this dance class, he's going to have more holes in him than Jordan's duvet, right? He's just going to get ventilated. We're not taking any chances. We care about your safety and your children's safety, but that's not what we're doing. We're dancing around the issue, pretending it didn't happen, hoping it all goes away so we can stop talking about the perpetrator and just be on our merry way. And then it'll happen again in another 6 months, and we'll do the same, and we'll play Imagine on a piano, and we'll pretend it never happened, and we'll never talk about the motivations or the country of origin of the people or the parents of the people that done it. And it's fine, because we've got loads of kids. We've got loads of them, so, we don't need to worry about grooming gangs and the occasional terrorist atrocities. We can just make more. Easy. Yeah, well, the asylum seekers can, because they're the only ones who can afford to have kids these days, but you can't. So I think it's a bit of a problem that in 40 years' time, the whole of the UK is going to look like a bazaar in Mogadishu. I think that's a bit of an issue, but apparently you're not allowed to think that. So I'll just shut up and read you some more trifling drivel, shall I? Catherine has spoken of having good days and bad days, and Kensington Palace has cautioned that her appearances might need to be flexible and be subject to last-minute changes. Good days and bad days. I think your worst day has definitely been better than my best day since my 7-year-old daughter got bayoneted in the face by a foreign man. I mean, that's probably what I'd say to her if I was unlucky enough to be father of one of the victims. I don't think you'd be getting me turning up with a bundle of flowers and a sympathy card. But I guess I'm just filled with hatred. The visit to Southport was intended to show the community that it had not been forgotten, or do me a favour, you've memory hold the incident. The Prince and Princess heard about the efforts to bring the community together after the knife attack. BB, Elsie and Alice were all killed. Then the couple talked about nice things. And then, oh, hang on, there's some actual details here. Axel Rudukabununabu was arrested at the scene. Nice English name, that, Axel Rudukanubu. And he was charged with murder. But that's it. That's it. Don't want to talk about him anymore or why he did it. So let's talk about well-being and mental health for a little bit. And a couple have made a donation via a charity, that's nice. And Andy Rhodes said it was a massive boost for emergency workers. Who gives a monkey's fart about the emergency workers? Who cares? First priority are the survivors, because you can actually help them. Because I don't talk about that very much, but there was a lot of severely injured children who were a little bit raw because they got stabbed 11 times. But you want me to worry about the emergency workers? And then the second priority are the parents of the 3 kids that died. And then the third priority are the rest of the kids still living in the area who are less secure than the Thai prozzies' knickers because they keep letting blokes move there who haven't been vetted. So no, this feel-good story doesn't make me feel good. It makes me feel very, very, very angry. They're trying to memory hold the whole thing. They're not talking about the attacker or the motivations for the attacker or the fact that the attacker's relatives are all moving to the UK via the medium of a rusty tin bathtub or sneaking into the back of a tomato van and driving through the Channel Tunnel or whatever else they want to do. So, sorry BBC, you can fold your feel-good story up and pork it up your shitbox. How's about that? Anyway, that's just me. Apparently I'm filled with spite and negativity. If after atrocities like that, you enjoy reading fluff pieces about everybody coming together and Kate being nice and having a cup of tea while giving a cuddle to a fireman, I think you shouldn't watch this channel anymore. I think you are too stupid to even click play on YouTube. You are too dense to operate a mouse. And I feel like I'm getting dumber that you even view my content. So please leave. And if you're not that, and you're very angry about it, just do something useful. There's two options. You can either dress up in a policeman's uniform with a MP5 and stand outside the dance class for 24 hours a day. That'll help. Or you can write an angry letter to the BBC and say, "Dear BBC, your entire organisation is evil, and if I had my way, it would get bulldozed in the middle of the 9 o'clock news, the rubble cleared away, the ground salted, and then that's one thing I would memory hole the BBC. I would deny that the BBC ever existed. That's how much it embarrasses me. But that's just what I think. I guess I'm just unreasonable. I am. I don't know, there's something about the needless injury and death of dozens of children that makes me a little bit angry. I'm weird like that. Weird. All our politicians in the House of Lords and the House of Commons and the BBC journalists and Owen Jones, they can just get on with the day. Totally fine. Talk about the weather. And they'll have you believe that they're the normal ones who don't seem to get touched by seeing images of little children who've been stabbed half a dozen times, needlessly, by an import. They're the normal ones, and I'm weird because I see those pictures, empathise with the parents and the victims, and get very, very angry about it. So I'd argue that righteous fury is the normal response, and someone like Keir Starmer or one of these BBC journalists is just a sociopath. But that's just my opinion. If you think I'm a weirdo, let me know in the comments. All right, that's it. I'll link the full story if you want to read the whole thing. If you're a pervert and you want to read the whole thing because you enjoy the feeling of your piss boiling in your bladder, you can have a read. All right, thanks for watching. I'll see you all tomorrow. All right, toodle pip. Cheers.